They found the body 6 months later, buried under her rose garden. But what they found next made the police throw up. This is the scariest true story I've ever come across. It's about family, secrets, and the terrifying truth that sometimes the monsters we fear the most are the ones who raised us. And after what I found in her house, I'll never sleep properly again. I hadn't seen my grandmother in over a decade. I was 26, burnt out from work, and in desperate need of a break. So when she invited me to stay for a few weeks in her house out in the countryside, I said yes. Her house was just like I remembered. Old, quiet, filled with the scent of lavender and cookies. She greeted me with a warm hug, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Her smile was kind. Her eyes were not. That night, I wandered into the attic and found a dusty old photo. It was her standing in front of the house, smiling. But next to her was a man, pale, frightened, hands bound behind his back. I thought maybe it was a prank until I turned it over and saw the date, August 12th, 1977. The second night I heard scratching. It came from beneath the floorboards, slow, deliberate, like fingernails on wood. At first I thought it was mice, until I heard it again the next night, and the night after, always at 3:12 a.m. Grandma was acting strange. She'd sleepwalk. I caught her in the hallway, whispering names I didn't recognize. Danny, Margaret, John. When I asked her who they were, she just smiled and said, "Old friends." I decided to check under the kitchen floor. The sound seemed loudest there. That's when I found it, a trap door, nailed shut, with claw marks on the wood from the inside. There was one room in the house that was always locked. I asked her about it. She smiled and said, "That room is private, darling." I waited until she went to the market. Then I peeked through the keyhole. Inside was a rocking chair, swaying slowly, a table with jars on it, something floating inside. They looked like fingers. That night I woke to the sound of the lock clicking. I crept to the door. It was wide open. The rocking chair had stopped moving, but the jar were gone. I found a box in the attic, buried under old quilts and holiday decorations. Inside were hundreds of newspaper clippings. Girl, 14, missing after visiting aunt. Family disappears after Thanksgiving dinner. Local worker vanishes while doing repairs. All within a 15-mile radius. All dated between 1973 and 2009. Some had handwritten notes. One said, "They tasted like pork." My blood ran cold when I found a photo clipped to one. It was of a girl who went missing in 1999. She looked just like my cousin Emily, the same cousin who vanished when I was 7. Grandma had told us she'd run away. We believed her. A man knocked on the door one rainy afternoon, mid-50s, nervous, pale. He looked at me and whispered, "She's not who you think she is." He said his brother disappeared while doing roof repairs here in 91. He handed me a photo. It was the man from the attic photo. Before I could say anything, Grandma stepped into the doorway. The man froze, then left. A week later, they found him dead in a nearby well. Official cause, accidental fall. I don't believe that for a second. I waited until night. Then I pried open the trap door with a crowbar. The smell hit me instantly. Rotten meat and something metallic. A narrow staircase led down. The walls were lined with hooks. On the table, teeth, dozens of them, labeled in neat handwriting. A wedding dress, bloodstained, hung in the corner. I pressed against the back wall and heard something shift, hollow. I pushed. The wall creaked open to reveal a hidden chamber, and behind it, someone whispered, "Help me." She was alive, pale, thin, eyes sunken. She said she'd been held here for 18 years, said she was engaged to my uncle, who disappeared in 2005. Grandma had told us he'd moved to Alaska. The woman said, "She's not human. She doesn't age. She doesn't sleep. And she feeds on more than flesh." Then we heard footsteps above, slow, heavy. Grandma was coming. She was humming. I grabbed the woman and ran. We burst out of the trap door and knocked over a lantern. Flames spread fast. She screamed my name, chasing us with a cleaver in her hand. The fire swallowed the house. When it was over, all they found was ashes and bone. And in the rose garden, 17 bodies, each with the same initials carved into their skulls, including Emily's. No records of her birth, no ID, no family photos before 1965. I found old letters hidden in the woman's belongings. Photos of Grandma in 1923, in 1947, in 1960. Looking exactly the same. A week later, a gas station in Oregon reported a strange woman buying roses. The security cam caught her face. It was her, still smiling. Do you think my grandmother was human? Or something else entirely? What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Let me know in the comments. And if this story terrified you, you're not ready for what happened in room 104. Click the video on screen now, before it's too late.